Ray's Sports and Slams is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
What is up? It is that time! Monday! Ray's Sports and Slams, episode numero cuatro. That's 4. Espanol, that's right. Lots to talk about today. Thank you guys for watching the show. Thank you guys for all your support. Please follow the show. If you're not following it already, shame on you. You should get punished. Facebook, Instagram, all the threads out there. Follow us, Ray Sports and Slams, boinkstudios.com, where you can find us. Lots to talk about. Before I get into bringing in my guest, I want to say hello to everybody. Jeff, Peter in the house. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Timmy Gonzalez, what's up? Yes, Mr. Iguana is the king. I agree with you. I'm going to bring in my guest momentarily, and we have a lot to talk about. This basically covers Major League Baseball, football, and, of course, the big sport, the NBA. I'm bringing a sports icon, a guru of gurus. Welcome, one and all, Curt Hylton. What's up, my friend?
Thank you very much. I'll do my best to live up to that billing. You're the ultimate hype man.
I do what I can, my friend. I do what I can. Thank you so much again for joining me on the show. I appreciate your time, and more importantly, I appreciate you for taking the time out of your day to join us today. I'm going to get started. We're going to get right into the fire, and we're going to talk about Major League Baseball. We're at Game 3. The Toronto Blue Jays are playing the Los Angeles Dodgers in LA, and tonight it's Matt Scherzer against Tyler Glasnow. A lot of people were saying that the Dodgers are going to sweep this series, that this was like a foregone conclusion. I'll start by saying, the Blue Jays are showing a lot of heart. Blue Jays are playing with purpose. They came from behind to get to this point. They've shown a lot of grit. The Dodgers, from what I've seen, have one major flaw. And if you could get to that flaw, you're in the greenhouse. The Dodgers bullpen is very suspect. They have phenomenal pitching. They have phenomenal hitting. But if you could get to that bullpen, there's where you have your opportunity. And I think so far, the Blue Jays have capitalized on it. And I would not be surprised if Blue Jays could pull one out in LA tonight, but we shall see. I'll throw the ball to you, Curt. What are you thinking, and what are your thoughts?
I agree with you. You know, it brings to mind the summer cookouts when you're eating outside and that one flies there, you're trying to swat it away. The Blue Jays are just like that, you know? You can't get rid of them. They're scrappy. It's a true David versus Goliath thing, you know?
True. Do you see a flaw in the Dodgers bullpen? Like a
Absolutely.
lot of people say,
I think you nailed that right on the head.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very, very sus. I mean, like I said, Dodgers have Shohei Ohtani, Dodgers have Freeman, Dodgers have the pitching. But if you could just keep it close, and I was having this conversation before we went on air, you could keep it close to the 6th or 7th inning, and you could get to that bullpen, you got something there. And I think, like I said, that's their Achilles heel. And in my opinion, baseball and football are the two sports where you need defense. Defense in football and pitching in baseball, which I equate that with defense. You're not going to win by scoring 30 runs and giving up 20.
Just ask the Yankees.
Yes. I'm not even going to go there because I have a lot of Yankee fans. But yes,
I'm a Yankee fan.
Just ask the Yankees. So at the end of the day, you know, the Dodgers have this huge Achilles heel, and they've been successful thus far because, you know, they could take a lead, 6-2 going into the 6th or 7th inning. Even if they give up 2 runs, 3 runs, they're still going to win 6-4, 6-5. No harm, no foul. No one's looking at, hey, your bullpen just gave up 3 runs. This could have been, an easier game. You made it much more difficult. They just look at the fact that they won. But, to all the baseball experts out there, they've called in, they've said it all the time. The Dodgers, if you're going to beat them, you got to do it this way. So Jeffrey Peters says Dodgers so many pitches in the first game. Exactly. The Dodgers are draining their pitching, and I don't know. Like I said, you don't want it to get to a bullpen matchup because I think the Blue Jays have a really good bullpen, and I think the Blue Jays can, hang with any of them when it comes to that. Fernando, we are going to get into that, so have no fear with that. And Fernando says the Dodgers are winning the series. I don't know, dude. Like I said, you got to hope that your starter, comes in there and, again, gives a lead of 6-1 or 6-0, and the bullpen gives up 4 runs, you're going to win 6-5. Are you with me, Curt?
Yeah, I think the Jays are just scrappy and resourceful.
Yeah.
What I love about them, they'll put bat in the ball when necessary, and they'll find a way to steal the base and do all the things that they need to do to win. I think the Yankees series showcased all that.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens tonight. All right. My man Don Q, Blue Jays are taking the chip. Dude, like I said, I would not be surprised.
Get my guy Don Mattingly a ring.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. It would not blow my mind because, like I said, and I want to keep regurgitating the same thing. Pitching. If your bullpen is sus, it could devastate a team. And at the end of the day, you've gotta have that. So we'll see. Switching to the sport we both have a lot of love for, we're gonna go to the NFL. And finally, the Jets got a WIN. Shocking fashion, came back down, I think 14 in the fourth, and came back and won 39-38. Dude, I was very, very surprised. Justin Fields cried. I think that Aaron Glenn may have been able to keep his job because of this. I'm going to throw the ball to you first, and then I'll take it from there. What are your thoughts on this game, and what are your thoughts on the Jets?
My sister's a long-suffering Jets fan. I was like, I'm always teasing her. I was like, look, you've never eaten at the dining table. You never come to big boys' table. You're always stuck at the kids' table. You haven't seen them win anything. It happened before you're born. It's an abstract notion.
Yes, I think when the last time they won, I think Moses was parting the sea, right?
Oh, man. There was still some stuff being chipped away in the stones.
Do you think Aaron Glenn's job got saved because of this?
I had to talk a lot of Jet fans up here in New York off the ledge. They were saying, hey, he's got to go. I always tell them, look, what do mid-season firings ever solve in the NFL? It doesn't work.
Exactly. You got
too much to install.
Too much. You got to stick with your unit, and at the end of the day,
and give the guy a chance to grow into the job. It takes time. It's a huge pressure cooker. It's a lot to digest.
One thing I was impressed that he missed, I think, 2 games ago. Right before half, he actually used his timeout wisely and didn't just throw it away. I was like, see, Aaron's learning. I have a lot of love for Aaron. He's a former player. He plays with his heart. He's learning, like you said, on the job. But, I want to keep this guy. Let him, make this transition and let him get a fair shake. And, if the Jets could muster up another win or two, I think it will definitely solidify him in keeping his job. And I feel bad because I don't think Justin Fields is a horrible quarterback. He has no time to throw.
He doesn't have time. And again, I always point out to people, this is like his 6th offensive system he's had to learn in like 5 years.
Yeah.
That's difficult. Like getting 5 master's degrees. It's
pretty
not
much
easy.
Yeah. It's like owning a restaurant and you're changing the menu every month. And it's like, dude, I just learned these specials and now you're changing. It's hard.
Exactly.
I agree with you.
Then you got your owner telling the world what he thinks of you, that you're the problem. And, hey, Woody, look in the mirror, okay?
Preach, brother. Preach. We're going to go to the other New York team, The New York Giants, unfortunately, they got the brakes beat out of them. 38-20. Cam Scadaboo, unfortunately, was in a horrific tackle and tore his ankle. I feel very bad for him. I think he's got a lot of heart. He's got a lot of grit. I like him as a player. Is this the end for the Giants? Is this like basically the final countdown, last bell? Do you see the Giants any way, shape, or form coming back from this?
I think the Scadaboo loss hurts them in terms of their fire in the belly, but Jackson Dart shows a lot of the same qualities and heart and moxie, you know. I think the Giants' mission from this point on, because no one was thinking playoffs for them going into the season.
No.
It's got to be to develop the talent you have. Obviously, Neighbors going down was huge. So you got 2 young players now out for the season. To me, mission number 1 has to be develop an option that's reliable opposite Neighbors. And they drafted Hyatt out of Tennessee, Jalen Hyatt, who's really having problems seeing the field. You have to find a way to get something out of him.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like they need to simplify the offense now because Jackson Dart is a rookie. He's new to the offense. Like you said, your top receiver is gone. Your top back is gone. You know, you want to simplify this offense now. I feel like the coach needs to pull this to the side and say, look.
Remember, at Ole Miss, he came out a very simplified system where it was spread offense, basically a 2-read system.
Yeah, I think he's got to go to the basics now and go to like a 2-read system to keep his confidence up. The worst thing you could do, you know, from my perspective, is to throw this guy into a run and gun offense, you know, some complicated highfalutin offense that he's just not ready for. And it's just going to bring him down worse. And I feel if you want to keep him as your starter, you want to keep his energy up and keep him, you know, engaged, simplify this offense. Because right now, you have no pieces to this puzzle.
Yep.
And if you want to see the Giants be compatible, yeah, exactly. And if you want to, you know, be competitive, at least, like I said, make this easier for him. I'm not going to throw someone into the fire that, you know, is a rookie that doesn't know the complexity of the game at that point and have him drown. So, yeah, I feel like simplify it. Let's, you know, short little 5-yard little slants, some quick runs, and, you know, nothing complicated.
Get him in rhythm fast and get the ball out of his hand in less than 3 seconds. And lean in on the run game. The 2 biggest allies a young QB has is a run game and a solid defense. And the Giants have shown they can get after the passer against anyone. They got waves and waves of guys.
Defense. Yeah, they have defense. Said offense sometimes is a little sus. But again, injuries are part of the game, so that it happens. And I feel like, you know, they have to adjust. But I think if their coach keeps the offense the way it has been, now, like I said, now you're missing 2 huge pieces. These aren't second stringers. These aren't guys that, you know, come in for a play or 2. These are your starters. To have those 2 starters out, like I said, you've got to make adjustments. And, you know, we'll see. You know, shouts and prayers to Cam Scadaboo. I feel bad for him. Like I said, I like his heart, like his moxie.
Yeah,
and you never want to see anybody get hurt.
State.
Yeah.
No,
never want to see anybody get hurt. And you know, I don't care whose team you root for, whatever. You know, you never cheer for somebody getting hurt. And you know, to see a couple of fans, you know, applauding or like happy that they're like, dude, come on, show a little class. Like that's to me, that's like, what's wrong with you? Like, show a little heart. You know, like I said, I'm not a Giants fan, but I would never, ever wish anybody to get hurt. So, like I said, thoughts and prayers to Cam, and hopefully he'll come back and crush it like he's dead. Speaking of football, we're going to go to the Indianapolis Colts, who are in fuego right now. Danny Dimes is turned into Danny Dollars and Bills. I don't know what's going on with this team, but dude, the Colts look for real.
They
Do
are.
you think Daniel Jones is in the best system humanly possible for him, or do you think his confidence has just changed because he's got more weapons?
It's amazing what you can do with a whole team around you, isn't it? You're protected, and you got arguably the best running back in the game, not named Saquon Barkley.
Yes. Taylor is a beast. And I think he's 50, 60% of their offense, but he's that guy. Jonathan Taylor's a beast, and he uses them right. But yet, Daniel Jones is still making these really good throws. He's finding people in the end zone. And people said, where was this guy? I said, dude, he had no time to throw when he was on the Giants. I guess, like you said, it's amazing how, when you have time to see read a defense, see who's open, your whole game changes.
Yep.
So
Let's go back in time a little bit. I think a lot of the negativity of the fan base towards Daniel Jones was because he was perceived as a reach coming out of Duke by the previous administration under Gettleman.
yeah.
And they also forget the 80-plus yard run that he had where he got pegged by a sniper where he couldn't quite make it to the end zone. But the guy had the athleticism always and the good arm,
Mm-hmm.
All he needed was an opportunity to stay upright and be protected and have assets around him.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched his games this year more intensely because the Colts are just the talk of the town right now. And dude, he's not bad. Like everybody who was ragging on him, Daniel Jones, get him out of New York. He's trash. Blah, 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 blah. I hate Daniel Jones. He stinks. He's this, he's that, he's the other thing. I said, dude, I think this guy's not that bad. And dude, now people are are eating their words, dude. What are you going to say? I mean, he's got, Jonathan Taylor, who I agree with you. He's probably the second best running back in the league, but he's still doing all the other things that make you a good quarterback. He's finding the open receiver. He's making good reads. He's not throwing into double coverage. He's not making silly throws. So yeah, I got to give his credit, dude. Like him or don't like him, dude. You can't say Daniel Jones is a bum.
There comes a point where guys reach the point in their careers where they've seen so much, very little catches them by surprise. Joe Flacco showed you that a couple of weeks ago against the Steelers, where he carved them up. Daniel Jones is obviously much younger, but he's seen a lot. But now that he has, it's like putting a guy behind the wheel of a Porsche when he's been driving a Corolla. He's taken the opportunity and run with it.
Exactly. Fernando says, I don't think the Colts are going anywhere in the playoffs. Fernando, agree to disagree. I mean, if they play like this, dude, the Colts are going to be a very tough out. I think they're going to be a very tough out. They have good defense. They have Jonathan Taylor, dude. They have good receivers, good offensive coordinator. I'm not guaranteeing a Super Bowl appearance, but dude, definitely not going to be an easy out.
Nope. And they're coming in with no expectations on them.
It's a lot easier to win a playoff game when no one expects you to.
Exactly.
Let's talk, dude. All right. On another note, now we're going to talk about my team, them boys, and the Dallas Cowboys. Unfortunately, they got smoked last night by the Denver Broncos, and I'm blaming one guy, Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus, for those who don't know, he's the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. And I think you or I could have done a better job. I don't know what he's doing. And, I'll take the ball and then I'm going to throw this to you. I think you're the defensive coordinator. You have your players. It may not be all your starters because some people are hurt, which, I get it. It's part of the game. But these guys look lost. These guys look like they're in the wrong position. They're not playing where they're supposed to be. They're missing tackles. They don't look enthusiastic. And I put that all on you. You're the coach. You're the defensive coordinator. At least put these guys in the right positions. Hey, they're going to go deep, play cover two. Hey, they're going to run stack the box. He's not doing any of that. Every play, he's just lost. The team looks lost on the defensive side. And I just feel like I don't know what he's doing, but these guys are not responding to him at all. And I don't want to see anybody lose their job, but Matt, dude, wake up. Get some sniffing salt, do something. But Dak is going to lose his MVP trophy because you're screwing up the team. The offense is on all cylinders. Right now, I haven't seen the offense look this good in years. But this defense, I think you or I could run 120 yards on this team. So I'm very disappointed in Matt Eberflus. I don't know who thought this guy would be a good acquisition to pick up as a defensive coordinator, but dude, he is donkey dookie. Ball is yours.
He's a far cry from what you had before with your defensive coordinator, who's currently Dan Quinn, who's currently the head coach of the Commanders. I always have to check myself and not say Redskins, you know.
Yeah, I can't say that now.
I'm too old, you know. but I would ask you as a Cowboys fan, what is their defensive identity? You know, they got rid of Micah Parsons, so they can't get after the passer like they used to do. And then now that's exacerbated by having a patchwork secondary in the mile high situation, you know?
I feel like it's not a matter of losing Micah Parsons, who I love. And I'm not one of these Cowboy fans that are delusional and say getting rid of Micah Parsons was a plus. It wasn't. I like Micah Parsons. I think he's a generational defensive pass rusher. You know, that was personal with Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones just didn't like him. That was nothing to do, you know, from what I've seen and from what I've read and my own personal opinion, he just didn't like Micah Parsons. For whatever reason. He likes Dak. He likes CeeDee Lamb. You don't like Micah Parsons for whatever reason. But to your point, I think Eberflus, he just doesn't have the guys playing in the right positions. Again, it's one thing when you don't have a pass rush. But when your secondary is playing 10 yards deep, when you know it's a run and they're playing deep like it's a pass, like that's, to me, it's coach. That's an Eberflus problem. He's playing like Eberpoo, and I don't get it. I don't get it, dude. Like, I don't understand what he's doing with this team. I don't know why he doesn't have this team more amped up to at least, you know, embrace the challenge of like, hey, Dak's going to give us 40. Can you at least keep the suffering to 21, 27, 28 points? We'll score 28. Just don't give up 45.
Yep. Let's also be real. I can't believe I'm about to dispense compliments to Cowboys. But it's okay. Dak is playing at an MVP level. He's playing the best ball of his career.
Yes, I agree. And Dak, right now, if he was on a better defensive team, he'd be running away with MVP right now. And I feel like if I'm Dak, I'm getting mad because I'm like, dude, I'm playing like a beast. I'm putting up numbers that no one is putting up in the NFL right now. Can you at least just help me out a little bit and play defense? Just come on, dude. Give me a little help. And I feel like Matt Eberstink is just costing my team. Yeah, dude, I'm not a big fan of Matt Eberstink. He's costing my team, hurting my team, making me upset. But
I'll throw you a bit of a consolation.
Okay.
They were up in the mile high situation, which we know tangibly affects players.
Yes.
And going up against arguably the best young secondary in the league. And pretty good defense. Who's on pace to matching the 84 Bears in sacks. They're well on the way to surpassing them.
Yeah.
They can get after it a bit.
Who's their top corner? I can't think of his name now.
Patrick Surtain.
Surtain. He's an animal. And dude, he's that dude. But again, Cowboys were still able to score. Like when you have CeeDee Lamb, you have George Pickens. Dude, you have Ferguson. You're gonna score. Just like I said, you gotta, you know, stop the bleeding to some extent.
Absolutely.
All right. We're gonna go to the sport that is probably my favorite. I don't know if it is yours, but we're going to the NBA. I'm a big hoops guy. I hope you are. We got to cover a very, very touchy topic because everybody's asking about it. Everybody wants to talk about it. This big NBA gambling scandal. For those who are living under a rock, who don't know what's going on, 3 NBA players got accused of participating in illegal gambling activities pertaining to the mafia, and others were getting in trouble for fixing games, and they were in trouble with the FBI. Chauncey Billups, who was the Portland Trailblazers head coach, Terry Rozier, Miami Heat guard, and Damon Jones, who was a player coach at one point with the LA Lakers. All these guys are in some serious hot, you know what? My thoughts are this. Chauncey Billups, you are making millions and millions and millions of dollars, and you are wasting it to win tens of thousands of dollars. I don't know what is going on with you. You know, getting involved in going to these illegal gambling parties and betting money. I just don't understand it. Go to Atlantic City, go to Vegas where it's legal and no one's going to say anything. But to do it on a stage where you're going to get caught, the FBI has been following this for, I think, 2 years now. I don't know what you're thinking. And to Damon Jones, who gave out critical information about LeBron James back in 2023, don't quote me, who knew LeBron wasn't going to play and leaked it out to another team, another bettor. And before, it was announced that, he wasn't going to play because I think before there was a game time decision. So before it got leaked that he definitely wasn't playing, he gave this inside information to somebody and the guy ended up winning a lot of money. And if you watch Terry Rozier, he fixed the game. And if you YouTube it, dude, he was taking shots like you or I were taking. And I'm like, dude, like, if you're going to cheat, at least try to make it a little less obvious. But it was brutal. I don't know what's going to happen with this. I'm very, very disappointed in this whole scandal. And I'm going to throw it to you, dude. The ball is yours. What are your thoughts on this?
I think the big loser in all this, obviously, a lot of things going on at the same time. You have rigged poker games with big names like Kevin Garnett. But the guy who I think who's ultimately the big loser in this is Chauncey Billups. This guy has been a guy who's been revered for a long time. And he came from a place where he was high draft pick, had a disappointing career to start, but he redeemed himself with the Pistons and got a ring, and then really carved out a niche market for himself for reclamation projects, which he passed on successfully as a coach. So again, to your point, what are you doing? You're just undoing every good thing you've done in your life professionally.
Exactly. And from what I hear, he's a good dude. And like, I'm not here to, preach from the top of the mountain. Gambling is bad and this is disgusting. Dude, go to Vegas, go to Atlantic City, gamble all you want. It's legal there. No one's going to say anything. I'm certainly not going to criticize you. I've been to both places and it is what it is. But to have these illegal parties, it's illegal. You know what you're risking. You're an NBA coach and people will kill for those jobs. To coach in the NBA, that's the top of the mountain. Coaches strive to get to that point. And I feel like you take an opportunity from somebody who would have killed for that position and you just, literally just urinated on it. So, to Fernando's point, I didn't know if he had skeletons, but he was a little sus. And Tim says it's crazy how this happens. Crazy is not the word, dude. It's nuts. Do you think this is going to basically ruin Chauncey Billups' chances of ever coaching again?
It very well could. Wire fraud charges, these are big things. Yeah. You're looking at federal time if convicted.
Yeah.
And everyone's entitled and should get due process.
Yes.
But again, when you're mixed up in stuff like scam poker games and you're fleecing guys like you and me, regular Joes,
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're sitting on top of a pretty good job and a pretty good bank accounts. It's hard for you to be portrayed as a sympathetic figure. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, you better have a great defense lawyer, because if I'm a prosecutor, this seems like a layup to me. It is pun fully intended, but
actually, that's a good layup. I like that.
yeah. He's not cutting a sympathetic figure right now.
Yeah, it's not a good look. And those 3 letters, FBI, dude, those not the 3 letters you want to hear.
No.
There's a lot of letters I want to hear.
When you talk about when they say they got 2 years of evidence on you, so that means they took their time, were painstaking about you. They didn't. The thing that everything I've read says there's a lot of overlapping stuff with the cases, so that's why it's taken so long for them to announce it. But the fact that they announce it, what I know about law enforcement, they don't announce these kind of things without feeling pretty good, confident that they have a pretty good case.
Yeah. And to your point, yeah, for them to go 2 years of deep digging into this and to finally let this out, yeah, they're not going to let the cat out of the bag if they don't have some fleas out there. And they're definitely got some meat on this bone, dude. There's no way these guys are walking away scot-free. They have a pretty tight case, and I don't know.
Boink Studios YouTube is the home of Ray's Sports and Slams, Tom Clark's Main Event, The Patton Report, Bear Mode, a podcast review of The Bear, and a lot more. Subscribe to the channel for archives that date back to 2014, with new content being uploaded every week. And check out boinkstudios.com for links to every podcast platform, social media, special announcements, and a lot more. Bookmark the site today.
You know things are not good when you hear 2 years of surveillance and the FBI going public with their information. It's just not a good look, dude. And to those 3 guys, dude, you know, Damon Jones, like, you were assistant coach. You could have eventually gotten a head coaching job or assistant head coaching job to, like, give vital player information away for what? So your friend or somebody you know can win a couple $100,000. What is that doing for your career?
Right.
Nothing. Zero. Your friend make a couple $100,000. You're going to jail and you're making nothing. So
and the business is real in terms of the relationships built. And once you forfeit your integrity, those things don't get forgotten. You become radioactive for quite some time.
And I would suffice it to say, I think Jones is in more heat than Chauncey because the players knew him. He was a player coach just like Chauncey, but no one's ever going to trust him. Like, he leaked out some vital information about LeBron. Like I said, it was a game time decision. And he said, no, I know for a fact he's not going to play. And to leak that, like I said, no one's going to trust him in the league, dude. I think he's in some real deep, you know what. Chauncey, you know, at least, I mean, if you had to pull one silver lining on it, he wasn't cheating with the team. It was all this illegal gambling, you know, poker tournaments and stuff like that, which I'm not taking Chauncey off the hook here, but it wasn't as, from my perspective, as severe.
Yeah, I can see where it's coming from on that. But what is fascinating about this, because each day that a little bit more seems to come out, and none of it is good what's coming out. Every day you're just kind of getting another serving, and at some point you're gonna have to be like pushing away your plate and be like, I have had enough.
Oh, Maria's in the studio. Don't worry, we are in full gear. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it's a really sticky situation. More information is going to come out. I'll definitely be addressing this, you know, further and further as more information gets leaked out. But I feel like if you're a player and you're leaking out information, you know, that's vital to the team, I think that's uglier than me running an illegal gambling thing in my house. Not justifying either one, but if I said what, in my opinion, is worse, that's worse.
Yep. What did it get a guy named Pete Rose, you know?
Exactly. Yes. Melanie Guzman, terrible. That's right. Shame. Feel the shame. Yes, yes, yes. Big Shot should get his Hall of Fame induction taken away. You know what? He might. Yeah, I could see it. We're going to touch a topic that my wife and all these New York fans love, the New York Knicks. Knicks are looking good. Knicks are coasting. They have their team healthy. They have a new coach, Mike Brown, who actually plays their bench, unlike the other coach who had these guys playing 60 minutes a game. I feel like, from my eyes and from what I have knowledge of in terms of NBA, this is a clear path for the East, for the Knicks to win the East. You have the Cleveland Cavaliers is your only obstacle. Boston doesn't have their star. Cleveland doesn't have their star. I think the Knicks have the most well-rounded team in the East other than Cleveland. And I think if you're going to do it, this is your chance.
I agree. It's all about seizing the opportunity. Just a bit of personal background. My wife is Brooklyn born, and I grew up in Brooklyn. So we go back to the Bernard King era of the Knicks. Pre-Patrick Ewing.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
PK all day, baby.
Okay.
So given that if you're looking at the Sixers, you have to expect the annual Joel Embiid midseason or playoff sabbatical and come to the realization there is no process. Just like the Matrix, there is no spoon.
Notice I didn't bring up the Sixers because you said Joel Embiid at some point is going to get hurt, and it's inevitable. I don't wish this on him.
No, it's a shame because he's a phenomenal player, but it's a yearly occurrence now, and there's no answer for that. You can't replace a player of that magnitude just like that, you know?
No. Tim brings up the Magic. Do you see the Magic posing any threat in the East?
You know, I think, again, they could kind of chip away, but I don't really see them making noise. One team I have to bring to your attention, because they were such a tough out for the Knicks last season, the Pistons. They're a little bit more experienced. They've been battle tested in that grueling series against the Knicks, so they have a little bit of chip on their shoulder.
Yes.
So
I got to give Detroit their props. Yes.
Since the Knicks are being anointed somewhat prematurely, if I'm the Pistons, I'm saying, hey, okay, you guys are the champs already. You got to play us, you know?
Yes. But I feel like the Knicks are their starting five is so strong right now.
They're very mentally strong.
They're very mentally tough. Like I said, now they have a coach that's actually utilizing their bench, because I think the Knicks could have won the East if they weren't just drained. Like
what Mike Brown has brought to the table is still a similar emphasis on defense as Thibodeau, but without the stifling lack of ball movement, with Brunson dribbling down the shot clock to under 10, were you desperate for shots? Mike Brown from day one said he wants ball movements, and you're seeing it on the floor.
You're seeing it. You're seeing a lot of ball movement. You're seeing, there's not this like dribble, shoot.
Right.
It's pass, find the open guy cutting.
You're seeing the emergence too of Anunoby, and the guy that gets overlooked a lot. I think he's the true definition of a glue guy, Josh Hart.
Yes, Josh Hart
does a little bit of everything for you.
And the Knicks have Jordan Clarkson.
Yep.
They have a nice little bench, dude. Like I said, I think this is their chance, dude. I feel like, they're that team. Marine brings up a valid point. You knew Joel was going to get hurt like Anthony Davis and Trout in baseball. Yeah, those three guys, dude, it's like clockwork. Anthony Davis, I love him. He's made of glass.
Yep.
Mike Trout, love him. He's made of paper. And Joel Embiid, love him. He's made of a combination of glass and paper. I don't know, dude.
It brings to mind like M. Night Shyamalan, unbreakable.
Preach. All right, now we're going to talk about my team, the Lake Shoe. Lakers have won 2 in a row. No LeBron and no Luka. No problem. You got AR 12. Austin Reeves dropping 51. Lakers looking good. I know you're not a Duke guy, but JJ Redick, he finds a way to get these guys to play, dude. The Lakers, they look strong regardless. I would hate to see this team at full gear right now because they're going after it. So give me your take on how long the Lakers can tread water without Luka, because I think he's going to be out for a week, and then LeBron's not coming back until November. Can the Lakers tread enough water to keep themselves afloat until the 2 big hitters come back?
Look, when it comes to knowing basketball, JJ comes from impressive coaching roots, which is Mike Krzyzewski coaching tree, and that translates to any level because Krzyzewski had overseas experience with pros in the Olympics, and he comes from the Bob Knight legacy. So JJ knows hoops. And
JJ knows him.
He's got enough to work with it in LA. I think they can tread water for a while.
Yes, I think they can. I think JJ Redick knows his X's and O's. He knows the game, and he plays to your strengths, and he knows what positions you should be in. And dude, he just makes good adjustments. Who would have thought Austin Reeves is going to drop 51? I don't care who it's against. You're an NBA team.
Yep.
So,
So you said you made a reference just now about X's and O's. So what needs to be answered for the Lakers? You got a guy who knows the X's and O's, but do you have the Jimmies and Joes?
That's true. I think they do, dude. Fernando says San Antonio should be the team everybody should be afraid of. Wembanyama's an animal, but God forbid he gets who do you have after him though? That's like the Lakers without Luka. You know what I mean? I think they have a lot more to offer. I love Wemby. I think San Antonio is going to be a very tough out. I think they're 1 or 2 players away.
I agree with you, but it is scary what they're building around that young fella.
Yes. And Fernando says, relax, they beat a crappy team without Luka and the fake GOAT. You know what I say to you, buddy? You know what I say to you? I say this. That's right. No such thing as being a crappy team. I think it's an NBA team. I don't care if it's a last place team, first place team. At the end of the day, you're in the NBA for a reason. So I feel like the Lakers are showing a lot of heart. And like I said, we'll see what happens. Luka looks phenomenal. He lost a lot of weight. I think he's playing much better now. I think he was averaging 45 in the 2 games he played before he hurt his finger. I think his recovery time will be much quicker now because he's not carrying all that extra weight. He dropped like 35, 40 pounds?
That's significant.
Significant, especially in the NBA. See, Curt, you know
Absolutely.
your stuff, dude. And to see, him come back, I think he's going to make an impact, dude. Do you see LeBron coming back quicker because Luka is actually getting a lot more spotlight now, or do you see them actually keeping their time with LeBron and keeping that timetable till November-ish?
I think they're going to take time with LeBron, given his age and the mileage on the body. But I don't think LeBron comes back prematurely because of any fear of Luka supplanting him, because LeBron has always drawn comparisons to Michael Jordan. I'm going back to the fake GOAT reference there.
Oh, you're talking about Kobe. Did you say Kobe?
No.
Wait.
Kobe.
What? Kobe. Yes, that's the real GOAT. That's what you're talking about? Yes, Kobe is the real. Wait, one more time. Kobe. Yes, that's the GOAT.
But I've always thought Magic Johnson was LeBron in lesser talented body, LeBron copies Magic's MO. He's a facilitator. He makes everyone around him better, and there's no task he's unwilling to do.
Yes. I respect LeBron's game. I respect his longevity.
Oh.
I feel his ego is going to get in the way, and if Luka comes back, yes, I think if Luka comes back sooner than later and puts another 40 burger up, you're going to see LeBron come back much sooner than you think.
He might get out of that hyperbaric chamber, huh?
He might get in that hyperbaric chamber. I don't know. Like I said, I think the two have a lot of respect for each other, but LeBron still feels like it's his team. And
yeah,
I don't think
competitor.
He's a competitor. And he's not like this aging, washed up guy that's putting up 10 points. The guy
he's got something to prove.
He's got something to prove. He's still averaging 20-something points a game last year. I think it was 28. So, I mean, the guy still has a lot left in him, and, we shall see. But, kudos to the Lakers. I think, like I said, they're treading water right now. We'll see what happens. I'm going to end the show with boxing. And this just came out. Rumors are flying of a Floyd Mayweather-Manny Pacquiao fight numero 2. I'm going to say I was there in Vegas to see the first Floyd Pacquiao fight. And I watched Manny get the hibbin-jibbins beat out of him. I don't care what you say. He would have lost that fight under any circumstances. Floyd had his number. Floyd knew what he was doing. Floyd counterpunched. He's the best defensive fighter in boxing, in my opinion. And I think now that they're both older, A, I don't want to see two old guys fight. And B, it's going to be the same result. People will pay to see this, unfortunately, because boxing, unfortunately, has turned into a circus show because you got Jake Paul fighting, your grandfather and your grandfather's buddy that plays checkers in the park.
Jake Paul, who is a modern-day Butterbean. So now that boxing's turned into that, I could see this fight happening, and I could see this fight generating millions and millions and millions of dollars. It will.
Two questions for you. A, will you watch this? And B, what you think will happen?
I go way back with boxing with my dad. I was born in Jamaica, and as a kid, I was at the fight that George Foreman knocked down Joe Frazier 6 times.
Ooh, okay.
I have memories of it from when I was like 7 years old.
Whoa, okay.
And I fell in love with boxing ever since.
Mm-hmm. So, again, the question to you is, will you watch this, and who do you think would actually win if they fought again?
I'll watch it out of sense of longing for the past, but I'll immediately probably turn to my wife and say, why did I do that?
Little Urkel reference.
Yeah.
But if you had to pick one right now, who are you going with? If they fought, if this actually happened.
I have to go with Floyd.
Yeah.
He's got less wear and tear, and he can slip punches, and he's always been a ring general. I would have to say, anticipate him having better mobility than Pacquiao.
Yeah. I feel like he still stays himself in really good shape. And I feel like he would handle himself there. Eric says, this would be a garbage fight. Why would they have fought 5 years ago before the first fight? Who would you want to see this garbage? Great take, dude. I agree. Like I said. But I know for a fact there's a lot of Manny fans out there.
It will sell tickets.
He didn't want to take a blood test before the first fight 4 or 5 years ago. He wouldn't take it. To me, dude, if I know I have no steroids in my system, you could test me morning, noon, and night. I don't care what you tell me, dude. If I know I'm clean, dude, you come to my house right now and test me for steroids. So for him to say it's a religious thing and he didn't want to get drained of his strength, it's a bunch of you know what.
When Maria said he wouldn't get tested, I immediately go to the closing credits of Coming to America.
Maria says Floyd. Fernando says Floyd. Curt and Ray say Floyd. I just, again, don't want to see it, but if they have to do this again, I don't see how Floyd wouldn't win this. Eric brings up another good point. I mean, they should have fought 5-6 years ago before that fight. They would have fought, Eric, to your argument, they would have fought if Manny would have taken a blood test. To me, if you have nothing to hide, Curt.
Exactly.
You know you're not
Yep.
taking PEDs. If
That
I came
looks
to your house
very
right now and
sus.
said, I want to test you for steroids,
Absolutely.
go ahead. Pick a vein.
It takes nothing out of me, you know?
Yeah. And I think that to me is
It looks very, very shady.
very shady. All right. We're going to wrap it up. It's time for the final buzzer. This is where you guys can ask me or my very, very, very gracious guest, Curt, anything about anything pop culture, music, sports, anything you want. Bring it. You can ask away, and then we'll wrap this up. Eric says, Money Mayweather. I do agree with you. We're on the right page. Would you put Cade Cunningham in the top 6 for early MVP? I'm going to let you take this first, then I'll give you my opinion. That's a good question. You know what? Before you answer that, let me give this guy an applause. That was a good question. Tough question. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just visually retreating into my cave to mull it over.
Okay.
That's a really good question.
That's a really, really good question, Tim.
I just think it's so early. I don't usually like to engage in projections, but it's very possible.
I think it's definitely possible, but it's very, very early, dude. With basketball, because it's such a long season, I feel anything can happen. You know, God forbid, knock wood, he gets hurt. That changes everything. So for now, I think he definitely has a shot. But I don't know how that's gonna, pan out as the season progresses. So we'll hold on to it. But definitely, like I said, a really good question.
Very good.
Fernando says Rakim or Big Daddy Kane. That's not even a thought. Come on, Eric B. Rakim. No doubt about it.
The goats.
The goats.
Don't sweat the technique.
Don't sweat the microphone fiend. Come on.
I ain't no joke.
We could do this all day.
Absolutely.
Who would win in a hypothetical fight, Joe Louis or Mike Tyson? That's another easy question. Joe Louis would destroy Mike Tyson right now. Do you disagree with that? I
don't. Mike, I think guys that Mike struggled with were taller men with ability to jab. I don't even think Mike could take Larry Holmes in his prime.
The
greatest jab of all time.
You bring Larry Holmes, prime Larry Holmes, yeah.
Woo!
Ugh. Mike Tyson, he had a problem with guys who could throw that long reach.
Yep.
Forget it, yeah.
Mike's whole MO was always to get inside and work the body. I don't think Joe Louis in his prime allows that to happen.
No.
And he could drop the hammer on you.
Yeah. Joe had the reach. Joe had that jab, like you said. Great counter puncher. I think he would have tired Tyson out and then just worked him and then put him away.
He would frustrate Mike into a mistake, I think.
Yeah. Big Ol has a new album out. I want to hear about that. Okay. Mike beat himself. You know what? That deserves an applause as well. Very true. Poor Mike. Dude, I want to thank you so much for being part of this show, dude. It's been a great time, great conversation. Curt, last parting words.
A lot of fun.
Parting words before I let you go, dude. Go ahead.
Let me tell you something. You guys pulled me out of mothballs. I'm still heavily involved in sports, but working with you guys gave me a lot of joy today.
It gave me a lot of joy too, Curt. You're an awesome guest. I'm definitely going to bring you back, especially as this NBA gambling scandal gets greater. We have a lot to talk about.
I'll be consulting with various league of minds to get stuff better prepared, It seems like this will go beyond the X's and O's. Now we got to read briefings and subpoenas and stuff.
Exactly. All right, dude. Thank you so much for joining. Stick around, stay in the booth. And let me say goodbye to my fans. And I, again, welcome you back with open arms. It was a pleasure having you. One more time, Curt Hylton. Thank you, my friend. Well, there you go, guys. That wraps up another episode of Race Sports and Slams. I want to thank everybody for watching. Please don't forget, boinkstudios.com. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and all the threads out there. Like and subscribe. Race Sports and Slams, boinkstudios.com again. I appreciate all the love. And, dude, I will see you on the flip side of this next week. Same bat time, same bat station. Thank you very much. And I'll see you next Monday, 6 o'clock.